I'm told now they are calling themselves alternative government. Group is calling themselves, and I am extremely disappointed that it is the same narrative that I'm hearing from the Babu Sifuna group calling themselves Linda Wananchi. Spectacle, drama, mobilization rallies are like, a windy afternoon blowing wildfire. And the masses would take any direction that the wind blows. But at the end of the day, after the wind, the situation is stabilized. And winds never move mountains. And when I talk about mountains, I want you to refer to the fact that it is this president who has tried to move our politics away from ethnicity and away from personality. And throughout his political life, especially in his run-up to the presidency, and throughout his presidency, he's been talking about policies, he's been talking about programs, he's been talking about the philosophical underpinning of his government. I listened, for instance, to Waziri Kirwa speak about the fact that fertilizers are available for the small-scale farmer at the last mile, but not for the 100-acre farmer. As you see, that's the philosophical difference between the interventions that he used to make when he was the Minister for Agriculture and what President William Ruto is making in this government. That in their government with President Kibaki, they served the big shots, they served the big farmers, they served the billionaires and the millionaires. While this government has tilted that and is targeting the small-scale farmer, is targeting the hawker in the street, is targeting the mamamboga, is targeting, and so the reason why the rich and the erstwhile powerful people in the system, like Waziri and all those who have converged around the united opposition, yes, who are basically people who have served in former regimes, have a problem with this government, is that it doesn't make sense to the few elites who have raped this economy at the expense of the masses. What this government is doing, for instance, with affordable housing, is apart from creating housing for people who market had never provided housing to, right now, over 500,000 young people have woken up this morning and are in various sites, are in quarries, are in factories, are on the road transporting, construction material, or are engineers, quantity surveyors, or lawyers engaged in various aspects of the affordable housing, creation of employment to those who otherwise would be in bus stages and in the villages doing nothing. This government has availed fertilizer to that small-scale farmer who would not be cultivating, would rather sell his small parcel of land to the big farmers like Waziri Kirwa, simply because he could not access fertilizer and could not compete with the big farmers. Now they can produce food enough for them to eat first, okay, before they even sell. And then the surplus, they can then sell and compete with the big farmers who can then look for the private means of getting their fertilizer. This is the government where President Kibaki and President Uhuru recruited 2,000, 3,000 teachers. This is a government that in the last 2 years has recruited 100,000 teachers. That is significant in human development. This is a government that has responded to, the challenge that we had in our health sector, where, we were continuously making noise about NSSF and no one is offering solution. And, delivered SHA. And then I still hear the opposition making noise. There could be teething problems here and there. But in reality, SHA is working. It's paying, for health services to everybody, including the poor. This is the government that has moved away from, what the previous government used to do, what the Kibaki and Uhuru government did, of concentrating infrastructural development funding to one region, to spreading it across the country. I was looking at, for instance, the investments that have gone into road constructions and you know, electricity infrastructure development in this country over the weekend. And I tell you, Dibal, it is a scandal that we could decide to collect tax from the entire country and only invest in Mount Kenya. This is the government that is now building, opening up the Rironi Naivasha road that will go to Kisumu.
Thank you.
That will build the SGR to Kisumu and other places. And so I can tell you, Dibal, at the end of the day, when the Kenyan will move into the ballot booth, they will not think about those who have been making noise in rallies. They will think about that person who has changed their life, and that will be William Samoei Ruto.
Okay. All right. I don't know if what will be your response, but I want to just ask also, from the content that we're having from the rallies, I've been listening very keenly what is tripping off their tongues. There is one narrative that is a bit worrying, and this is Raila's death.